Is eternal silence really impossible? For most of our lives, we have a deep-seated belief that our mind is our essence. From this fundamental belief, every experience, every reaction, and the very story of my life is made up of unconscious thoughts and memories. We mistake the echoes of the mind for our own voice, and so true silence seems a distant, unreachable horizon. Ramana Maharshi, the beacon of awakening from India, revealed a truth so simple it is shocking and powerful that it shakes the foundations of all perception. You are not the body. You are not the mind. You are not karma. You are the seeing, the knowing, unchanging, unwavering, unattached. And that, the self. Karma, what it really is and why it's never yours. We think of karma as an invisible hand of fate, manipulating our lives, pushing us into a cycle of suffering and repeating mistakes. According to Ramana Maharshi and the Vedanta philosophy, this is a fundamental misunderstanding. In ancient Indian scriptures, karma does not mean punishment or result. It is defined as the mental momentum left over from our unconscious actions, where we believe that we are the doer. Only when there is a doer within, does every action, good or bad, leave a trace, creating karma. Ramana Maharshi shed light on this truth directly. What is karma? It is every action that arises from the illusion that I am the doer. When it is clear that there is no one doing anything, karma ceases. This is a powerful statement that overturns the foundations of conventional psychology. If you are not the doer, then who is living your life? It is at the moment this question is sincerely asked that the door to profound transformation opens. Karma does not come from action, it comes from identifying with the action. What actually creates karma is not the action itself, but the stubborn belief that I am doing it. It is this clinging to the identity of doer that is the seed of all suffering, all samsara, and the world that you think is real. This has a profound meaning. You do not have to try to do a lot of good deeds to resolve karma. Every time you act while keeping the I behind it, hoping, fearing, or calculating, you continue to create karma, no matter how virtuous the action may seem. On the other hand, if the action is pure, without attachment to the result, without a person who owns the action, then it leaves no trace of karma. This is true inner freedom, when you no longer try to change the external circumstances, but change the very root of your inner perception. You have never been the doer. You are pure awareness. So how do you end karma? Not by adding good things to erase the bad things. That is just an endless game of the mind. The only way to escape the cycle of karma is to let go of the role of doer. You don't have to run away from life. You just have to be brave enough to look at the truth. Who is thinking? Who is doing? Who is reacting? When you probe to the core of the I behind every motivation, every thought, you will see it vanish like smoke. And at that moment, karma vanishes along with it. The mind, a trace of karma, not you. We are all too familiar with the phrase, I am living in my mind. But Ramana Maharshi revealed a shocking truth, the mind is not you. It is merely a byproduct of karma, a dense cloud of memories, habits, reflexes and images, not the center of your being or your true nature. Ramana Maharshi explained this in a very simple yet powerful way. The mind has no substance. It is like a shadow. When you turn back to the light, the shadow disappears. The mind is a collection of habitual reactions repeated so often that you mistake it for yourself. The mind itself is not the enemy, but it becomes the source of suffering when we mistake it for ourselves. When the mind creates a delusion, you believe it. When it creates a story, you follow it. When it reacts unconsciously, you think it is your natural reflex. The truth that Ramana points out is that the mind can only function in the darkness of the unconscious. It cannot exist or function if it is seen clearly, directly. The bottom line is, the mind cannot transcend itself. Any attempt to restrain, purify, or control the mind by will is just a game in which the ego changes roles. It is still the I trying to control another I. And that is the endless cycle of karma. The method is not to fight, it is to go back to the source of the thinker. Ramana Maharshi does not encourage us to fight with the mind. He does not ask us to suppress our emotions or eliminate our thoughts. He simply gave one instruction. Look at the person who is thinking. Trace until there is no more person. Right there, just stillness. No mind. No karma. No need to kill the mind, just stop believing you are the mind. One of the most subtle traps on the inner journey is the illusion of destroying the mind with the mind. Spiritual practitioners often try to enter meditation, suppress thoughts, suppress emotions, and aspire to reach a state of no more thoughts. But when you look deeply, all these efforts, no matter how noble they may seem, are rooted in a subtle notion of ego. It is the I trying to control another I. Ramana Maharshi pointed out a liberating truth that cuts through all the inner games. You have nothing to do with the mind. Just look, who believes in it? This simple statement is a sharp sword, cutting through the invisible rope. You do not have to conquer the mind. You just have to stop surrendering to it. The mind is only powerful when you are complicit with it. Whenever you hear the voice in your head saying, I am not good enough, I need enlightenment, I am a failure, and you believe it, the moment you believe it, you are pouring life energy into illusion. The mind itself has no independent entity. It lives on identification, on your labeling of this as me onto passing thoughts. But what if you did not react, did not cling, did not judge, and simply watched it arise like a wisp of smoke dissolving into nothingness? You will be amazed to realize that the mind loses all power. It becomes bare, and dissolves into the ground it has never touched, silence. When no one believes, thoughts fall away. Ramana did not ask you to change your mind. He simply taught you to realize that you are not it. When there is no thinker clinging to thoughts, thoughts are just passing phenomena, like clouds drifting across the vast sky. There is no need to try to stop the clouds. Just return to being the sky. And in that return, karma is quieted. The ego dissolves. The mind no longer needs to be tamed or tamed, because it was never you. Eternal silence, not a state of meditation, but the essence of all states. This is one of the misunderstandings that creates distance on the spiritual journey. That silence is a sublime state that you need to attain, through intense meditation, deep absorption, or complete cessation of all thoughts. But Ramana Maharshi shattered that illusion with a surprisingly simple truth. You do not need to attain silence. You are silence, when you are nothing else. Every attempt to become comes from the illusion that you are an incomplete someone. Even trying to become enlightened is a subtle game of the spiritual ego. Who is the one who is trying to become enlightened? If you look directly at that question, that subtle eye drops away. And at that moment, you are no longer the seeker. You are what you have been searching for. Eternal stillness does not come and go, for it is the ground light that is always present. It does not depend on whether you are meditating or washing dishes. It does not change whether you are angry or filled with love. It is not a passing state, it is the space that encompasses all states. You can talk, laugh, work, love, fight, but when there is no ego attached, all actions take place in the unshakable ground of stillness. That is eternal stillness, your true self, the true self. When you are no longer dragged along by the burden of memories, no longer pushed by desires, no longer controlled by fear of the future, then you do not need to search for stillness. In that moment, you are it. Stillness is the foundation on which all states arise and pass away. Happiness comes, you know. Sadness comes, you know. Thoughts come, you know. Silence comes, you know. But that knowing never wavers, never is shaken by any state. That seeing is the real you, the true self. And its pure nature is stillness. When you stop trying to control, manipulate, or improve yourself, you return to the place where no effort is needed, where you are simply present, pure, formless. That is stillness, uncreated, unopposed, limitless. Living in the world and still abiding in the true self, the art of selfless living. How to reconcile worldly life with the desire for enlightenment. If I still have to go to work, have to support my family, have to face countless conflicts, how can I live in silence, abiding in the true self? The popular notion is that awakening is the privilege of hermits, enlightenment is only for those who practice in seclusion in the deep forests and caves. However, Ramana Maharshi completely rejected this misconception. He lived a full life in the world at the foot of Mount Aranakula, in a simple room, not hiding, not mortifying. He taught that it is in the hustle and bustle of everyday life that spiritual practice reaches its peak. Because there, all the karma, all the reactions of the ego will emerge most clearly. And it is through these revelations that we have the golden opportunity to recognize and escape. Living in the world, but not of the world. Ramana Maharshi has shed light on a profound truth. The world is not outside you. It is a projection of the mind. When you are no longer identified with the mind, the world no longer binds you. You still do your daily work. You still take care of your family. You still trade, study, laugh, love. But inside, a subtle transformation has taken place. There is no longer an inherent I that desires, possesses, or controls. You act, but you are not the doer. You respond, but you are not the reactor. You live, but you are not the living. You are simply awareness present in all forms, unattached, uncolored by anything. Practice in life. Don't change the situation, just change where you stand inside. Not everyone has the opportunity to meditate for 3 hours a day. But we can all stop for 3 seconds before each automatic reaction, and ask ourselves these introspective questions. Who is reacting like this? Who is afraid? Who is in a hurry? Who is trying to prove themselves right? The moment you turn around, you are no longer the one being swept away by the whirlpool of the mind. In that moment, you return and stand in the still, solid ground of the true self. Spirituality is not what you do, it is the state of being. You can wash the dishes with a restless, anxious mind. Or you can wash the dishes in a state of complete, mindful stillness. You can talk to affirm the ego, to be right. Or you can speak as an arm of life expressing through you, without attachment. Ramana Maharshi once said, "There is no need to leave home, work, or obligations. Just leave the idea that I am the one who is doing all these things." Presence, pure, clear, nameless, is the only thing that is truly alive. All roles, all identities, all stories about me, come and go. Make life a meditation by doing nothing for the self. Try applying a single principle to your day. Every action I take today is not to protect, beautify, or maintain the self. You will be amazed to see what happens. A lightness, a serenity appears in everything. Quarrels, conflicts gradually disappear from life. Fear no longer has deep roots. Everything happens smoothly, like a nameless, natural flow. This is the essence of karma yoga, acting without attaching oneself to the result, without identifying the ego with the role. And that is also the spirit of living in eternal silence in the midst of the ever-changing world. When you are the self, there is no life or no life. There is only presence. Finally, Ramana Maharshi brings us to a naked truth, beyond all concepts. There is no person living in life. There is no life outside the self. There is only the self manifesting through countless forms, through every moment, through every experience. You do not need to abide in the self as an effort or a goal to be achieved. You just need to stop thinking that you are living as a separate individual. And when that illusion is gone, what remains is not that you are enlightened, but a burst of realization: you have always been awakened. Still, true, nameless, formless, effortless. The most powerful illusion, the spiritual ego, the final trap on the path to liberation. There is one trap that is more dangerous than all the others, the spiritual ego. It is extremely cunning. It is intelligent. It knows how to speak the language of consciousness. It can memorize quotations from the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, the teachings of Ramana Maharshi. It can meditate diligently, observe strict precepts, be a vegetarian, and even attain sublime, illusory spiritual states. But no matter how bright its appearance, it is still a becoming. A person who is longing to attain something, a goal called enlightenment, peace, or the true self. And as long as that person exists, strives, the true self remains obscured. I am becoming enlightened, a great illusion of the ego. Ramana Maharshi, with his uncompromising wisdom, bluntly exposed this truth. There is no such thing as enlightenment. There is only the self gradually becoming revealed and falling away. You are not an entity that needs to become light. You do not need to add anything to your nature. You simply see clearly everything that is not light, and let it go. Truth is not something that is added or constructed. It is revealed when all the falsehoods, the layers of illusion, are seen clearly and dissolved. And that truth, that which has never been absent, is the self, the eternal silence. What remains when no one is searching, is liberation. When you stop asking the egoic question, what do I need to do to attain stillness? And instead direct the arrow of inquiry to the very source of the question, who is asking this? In that moment, you begin to dismantle the entire seeking mechanism, the creating mechanism that is the nature of the mind and ego. Gradually, the truth is revealed, naked and majestic. There is no seeker. There is no journey to be taken. There is no destination to be reached. There is only a formless, nameless light with no beginning, no end, fully present right here, right now. Ramana Maharshi does not give you complicated techniques or easy formulas. He cuts off all the shortcuts, all the detours that the ego often constructs. He does not lull you with sweet comforts, promising an enlightened future. He burns away your ego with the intense fire of absolute silence. And what remains, which cannot be described by words, which cannot be grasped by the mind, is what you are. Namaste.